The story takes place in 1913. The male protagonist, Hero Hua, has been fond of martial arts since childhood and is exceptionally talented. His father works at a newspaper and instills in him the values of respecting teachers and emphasizing righteousness. Hero's mother, who comes from a family of martial artists, entrusts him with the family heirloom, the Crimson Sword, and instructs him to seek apprenticeship under Pride. On his way, Hero is playfully attacked by a snowball, only to discover that it's his childhood friends, Jade and Sheng. Upon arriving at Master Pride's house, Hero performs a swordplay demonstration, impressing the master greatly. Pride expresses his satisfaction and mentions that upon his return from a journey with his senior disciple, he will teach Hero his own unique swordsmanship. Later, as Hero bids farewell to his master and returns home, he immediately senses something amiss upon entering the courtyard. The Hua family has been tragically annihilated. Hero helps his barely conscious mother up, discovering that the perpetrators are foreigners and a traitor named Bigot. The incident stems from Hero's father exposing the dangers of opium in the newspaper, offending them. Overwhelmed by the loss of his loved ones, Hero is consumed by grief and rage. Armed with the Crimson Sword, he seeks revenge. Finding the enemies reveling in debauchery, Hero confronts them with fury. When one of them pulls out a gun, Hero swiftly splits it in two with his sword, rendering the enemy's resistance futile. Though Bigot is absent from the scene, he witnesses everything happening inside the. After avenging his family, Hero departs without hesitation, and even the bodyguards dare not intervene. Hero becomes a fugitive wanted throughout the city. In order to survive, he decides to leave his hometown. On the eve of his departure, Hero bids farewell to Jade, his childhood sweetheart. Despite their deep affection and impending marriage, they now face separation by fate's cruel hand. The next morning, Hero arrives at the dock and, feeling helpless, signs a contract to become a laborer in the USA. Jade bids him a tearful farewell from the pier. The overseers are extremely strict, and Hero, along with dozens of others, is cramped into the dark and airless cabins of the ship, devoid of any freedom. Even drinking water and eating feel like acts of charity, but they are all desperate individuals, forced to endure in order to survive. Hero befriends Monk during the journey, and after 37 days, they finally reach their destination in the USA. However, the bustling scene before them has no relevance to their plight. After some tumultuous events, they are sent to a mining site to work as laborers, where the supervisors are harsh and treat them like mere commodities, often finding excuses to withhold their wages. Despite this, Hero chooses to silently endure. One day, Hero receives a letter from Jade, informing him that she is about to become a mother and wishes for them to reunite in the USA. Hero is overjoyed but also worried about the harsh conditions. Fate takes a cruel turn when the leader of the Chinese workers turns out to be none other than Hero's enemy, Bigot. Unaware of Bigot's involvement in his family's murder, Hero finds himself framed by Bigot, who accuses him of attempting to bury him alive to get rid of him. In the middle of the night, Monk tries to rescue Hero by. In the nick of time, senior brother Shadow appears and saves Hero using his braid. Soon, Sheng accompanies Jade all the way to the USA. In that era, finding someone in a foreign land was like finding a needle in a haystack. Through recommendations from fellow countrymen, they settle into the China House Inn. After some inquiries, they learn that Hero has already left the mining site. Refusing to give up, they search everywhere for Hero. Fortune favors the determined, as they meet Hero at the dock one day. Hero knew Jade would come looking for him, so he waited at the dock, hoping to encounter her. The three of them then spend joyful times together in the foreign land. Before long, senior brother Shadow arrives, informing them that their master has encountered a formidable enemy, Invincible, and hopes that Hero will stand shoulder to shoulder with him in battle. Their first opponents are these 5 individuals, Invincible's disciples. Meanwhile, Bigot sells Hero's whereabouts to these 5 individuals, but Hero and Shadow arrive ahead of them. Hero shows mercy and spares the wood ninja, as they have no personal vendetta against each other, just differing allegiances. This act of mercy leads the wood ninja to fall deeply in love with Hero, much to the chagrin of her senior, the gold ninja. Hero and Shadow, concerned for their fellow workers at the mining site, confront Bigot in an attempt to reason with him, only to be deceived by the cunning Bigot. Shortly after, when Hero and Jade are blessed with twins, a boy and a girl, Gold Ninja sets fire to the China house where they reside. In the chaos, Bigot kidnaps Hero's daughter, leaving Jade devastated. Hero, unable to pursue Bigot immediately, chooses to rescue his wife from the fire first. Unfortunately, Jade, already weakened, succumbs to her injuries. While their son is saved by Sheng, their daughter remains missing. Devastated by the loss of his beloved, Hero sinks into despair. Convinced that he is the cursed lone star of destiny, responsible for the misfortunes of his loved ones, he decides to distance himself from others, entrusting his son, Sword, to his childhood friend Sheng, and embarking on a journey with senior brother Shadow. Eventually, Hero witnesses the epic showdown between their master and his senior, Invincible. Invincible seeks to seize the legendary martial arts manual, China Pride. Despite their master, Pride, being the one who imparted the teachings, Invincible is a martial arts prodigy, fiercely competitive and relentless. Even though Pride emerges victorious in this confrontation, he acknowledges that Invincible's defeat stems from his emotional attachments. The duel leaves Pride severely wounded, and sensing his impending death, he passes the China Pride manual to Hero, as Shadow's circumstances prevent him from inheriting it. Subsequently, Pride succumbs to his injuries, leaving Hero to believe even more strongly in his cursed fate, blaming himself for his master's demise. Consequently, he chooses to depart without bidding farewell, wandering the world alone. 18 years later, Hero's son, Sword, now an adult, accompanied by Sheng, embarks on a journey to find his father once again. This day happens to be the New Year, and the atmosphere at the China House Inn is festive. Sword and Sheng settle in once more, where they encounter a formidable innkeeper skilled in martial arts and devoted to justice. Upon learning of Sheng and Sword's intentions, the innkeeper leads them to Monk, who has been residing there for some time. Since parting ways with Hero at the mining site, Monk hasn't been seen. Soon, they also encounter Shadow, who has since settled down, with his daughter now grown. Together, they decide to help Sword find his father. Meanwhile, Bigot continues to tyrannize the mining site. Monk, having escaped from there, joins forces with the group to eradicate this human hell. He informs them that the new and old boss there, the Black Dragon Commander, is even more cunning. After preparing themselves, they infiltrate the Lantern Festival performance and engage in battle with the villains. After capturing Bigot and questioning him about his sister's whereabouts, Hero intervenes just in time to save Sword when Bigot pulls out a gun. This time, Hero no longer believes Bigot's lies and confronts him directly, defeating him with his newfound martial prowess. However, his friend, tragically loses his life in the process. Despite his son, Sword, standing before him after 18 years of longing, Hero lacks the courage to acknowledge him. Sword stands behind him, calling out to him repeatedly, expressing his longing. Hero leaves behind a photo of himself and his wife for Sword before departing without looking back. Shortly after, a figure flashes behind Hero. It's none other than the Wood Ninja from years ago. She has come to deliver a message to Hero, Invincible, Gold Ninja, and others are coming to challenge him. Meanwhile, the Black Dragon Commander and Invincible's group have joined forces, but Hero's whereabouts remain unknown. In order to force Hero to appear, Invincible challenges him at the China House Inn. With his unparalleled martial skills, the current martial fanatic, Invincible, effortlessly overwhelms even the innkeeper, leaving everyone incapacitated by Invincible's power. Reluctant to endanger others, Hero is left with no choice but to reveal himself, and the two agree to settle their score in a remote area. Hero hides the Crimson Sword inside a statue at the inn's entrance, and soon, the epic showdown begins. After battling from noon until dusk, with a relentless exchange of blows, Hero's crimson sword unexpectedly splits in two, clearly indicating Invincible's advantage. Perhaps having not encountered a worthy opponent for too long, Invincible willingly breaks his own sword and disregards it, channeling his inner power to decisively defeat Hero. However, in an unexpected turn of events, after a burst of red light, the crimson sword miraculously heals itself, and Hero, wielding it once more, unleashes his master's ultimate technique. With a single stroke, Invincible is defeated. It turns out that Pride's words to Invincible were misunderstood. He was merely advising him not to be obsessed with martial arts and to value everything around him. Meanwhile, the Black Dragon commander arrives at the inn with his men, only to be subdued by the local police. They hope for peaceful coexistence with the locals. After this ordeal, Sword and Sheng embark on their journey back home. Although Sword does not see his father in the crowd, he knows that his father loves him.